Vigil tonight for the victims of a shooting at a congressional baseball practice in D.C. 4 people have gunshot wounds, including a leading Republican congressman. This is KOIN 6 News at 11 o'clock. I'm Jennifer Hoff. We have team coverage of what happened, and we want to start with Mola Lengi, who's at the Capitol, where the violence is really bringing both sides of the aisle together tonight.
Washington seems to be coming together after today's horrific shooting, but lawmakers who were at the baseball fields in Northern Virginia say things could have been much, much worse.
Rapid gunfire pierced the air at a congressional Republican baseball practice in Alexandria, Virginia. When it stopped, 4 people had been hit, including House Majority Whip Steve Scalise of Louisiana, who was shot in the hip playing second base.
He dragged himself after he was shot from near second base about 10 or 15 yards into the field.
Congressman Roger Williams twisted his ankle ducking for cover. He credits Capitol Police assigned to Scalise's security detail for containing the damage.
There could have easily been 25 deaths or more today.
President Trump visited Congressman Scalise and one of the officers in the hospital. The gunman, 66-year-old James Hodgkinson of Illinois, was shot and died of his injuries. Authorities are investigating his motives, but Hodgkinson posted anti-GOP sentiments on his social media. Investigators believe he may have been in Alexandria since March.
We believe that the shooter has been living out of his vehicle in the vicinity of East Monroe.
Democrats practicing at a nearby field stopped and prayed when they heard what happened.
The shooting brought lawmakers, so often bitterly divided, together.
We're united, not as Republicans and Democrats, but as United States representatives.
The bipartisan charity baseball game has been played on and off for 100 years.
I think this brings out an enjoyment which you can't necessarily get as if you're sitting in the congressional chamber.
Each team is tied at 39 wins apiece, making Thursday's game a tiebreaker with meaning far beyond the field.
Congressman Scalise remains in critical condition. He's expected to undergo at least one more round of surgery. Meanwhile, that congressional baseball game between the Democrats and the Republicans will be played as scheduled tomorrow evening at the Washington Nationals ballpark. Mola Lengi on Capitol Hill, back to you.
Mola, thank you. And some people say a frustrating political climate could be sparking more violent acts. Our team coverage continues now with our own Lisa Balick, who's going beyond the headlines. And Lisa, you spoke to an expert tonight.
Yes, Jennifer, and people are frustrated. They don't have a say or can't affect change. They're raising their voices and taking action, but some going over the edge, like with what happened today. It's a war of words, sparking a fire of anger and action. Anger over the outcome of Election Day motivated many to fill Portland streets with disruption and destruction. For months, Portland's been experiencing violence. From downtown damaging protests to lives lost while standing up to hate, fueled by a political and social climate polarizing people.
We've lost some capacity to really even talk to each other and understand where people are coming from.
Phil Kiesling is head of the Center for Public Service at the Hatfield School of Government at Portland State. The former Oregon Secretary of State says we're more interested in whether people share our attitudes and prejudices. And even though the economy is doing well, we're in a climate of fear, worried about what's ahead.
So many people feel that they're still left behind. So many people look around and say they're doing better, but not only am I not doing better, but I'm afraid I may do worse.
Refugees are welcome here.
All the shouting and violence gets attention. Some believe it could bring change. But as destruction of property and lives grows, like the shootings today, the divide widens.
I don't know what it will take to finally make us as a society kind of start saying enough is enough. But perhaps this will be one of those occasions. Let's just hope and pray so.
And that baseball practice was actually a step towards bringing sides together. That baseball game tomorrow night between Republicans and Democrats, a way towards working together and raising big money for charity. And they will, as we mentioned, go ahead and play tomorrow night.
And a lot of coverage will continue tomorrow at that game. Lisa, interesting perspective tonight. Thank you. By the way, we reached out to all of our local lawmakers in Washington. They wanted to pass along their well wishes to Representative Scalise. Here in Oregon, you're looking at Congressman Greg Walden, the only Republican representative, who also released a statement saying, in part, "My thoughts and prayers are with Whip Steve Scalise, Capitol Police, and the others affected by this morning's shootings." Democratic Senator Ron Wyden took a moment to address the attack at a Senate Finance Committee meeting, too, calling this a horrific shooting and also wishing for a quick recovery.
We're very grateful for the Capitol Police, the first responders who did so much, and I think the chair touched on this as well, to keep this act of violence from becoming far worse.
We have all the messages from other local lawmakers online right now that you can read at KOIN.com. And be sure to stay with KOIN 6 and CBS News for much more on the shooting of the congressman and details into a possible motive. We'll be sure to bring you updates here on KOIN and, as always, online at KOIN.com.